one of my biggest fears going through my 3-year trickle truth, I had a few, but one of the one that stands out for me was fear of being alone. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be the one couple in my whole family that ended up in a divorce situation. So I was making decisions back then during my 3-year trickle truth. I knew nothing about what I'm teaching today. I made decisions from a place of fear. I convinced myself that I was staying for other reasons. I convinced myself that I was staying for the kids. I was staying because I wanted to model forgiveness. I was staying because I wanted to give my husband this second chance and show what a martyr I was, and lots of things. And that's just my story. That doesn't have to be your story, but that was my story. Going through this journey, I really realized there was so much fear of being alone, and fear of judgment was my second one. Again, I didn't want to be the one couple in my family that got divorced. Now, I've got siblings. None of my, and if you know my story, my parents, and they're still here and they're still together. My dad is going to be 85. Mom's going to be 81. They've been married 60. I don't even know how many years now, 62, 63 years. They were never an ideal couple, ever, you know. A role model for me. They never got divorced. My sisters never got divorced. I didn't have cousins that got divorced. Nobody got divorced in my family. So I didn't want to have that judgment. Oh, Beth is the failure. Beth is the one that ended up divorced. I looked at that as failure. I never looked at divorce in any way, shape, or form that it could be a positive, healthy thing, ever. It was always, oh my God, what are people going to think of me if we get divorced? I have this quote unquote great life. What are they going to think? And remember, I went into the silent camp, right? After betrayal, betrayed partners either go into the shout it from the rooftop so everybody knows what my partner did, or you go silent and you tell nobody. I went into the silent camp because, again, there was way too much fear of judgment. There was no way I was going to share my story because that opened me up for judgment. So fear of being alone and fear of judgment, those were my two core fears. Now, again, I didn't know it during those 3 years of trickle truth. I convinced myself that it was for kids. It was because of forgiveness. That's not really what it was. Those played a part in why I stayed, but they were not the core reason. You know how I talk to unfaithful partners about surface level excuses for why they cheated, and they have to go deeper than that. They have to get into the core why. Well, guess what? We have our own surface excuses, and those were mine. My surface excuses were basically I was staying for the kids and I wanted to model forgiveness. Those were on the surface though. And it wasn't until I kind of got to this other place in my healing journey that I realized, yeah, that was a part of it. But you know what? It really was. I didn't want to be alone. And I certainly didn't want to get judged by my family. So we have to look at our own fears. Now, the reason, not only do we have to look at our fears for our own healing, like just to get rid of these fears that are holding us back, but it's the only way to build confidence. And if you're taking Pain to Power, Freedom from Fear, you've heard me talk about this. The only way any human being on the planet, doesn't matter what your role is, man, woman, faithful, unfaithful, doesn't matter. There's only one path to confidence, and that's taking risks. That's it. We cannot be confident in anything unless we take a chance, unless we do something, take an action, okay? Think of a baby learning to walk, okay? What do they have to do? They have to take a risk. They can't just sit down and crawl for their whole lives and not ever take that chance of standing up and holding that table, even if they fall down a few times, which they do. We have to take a risk. So the only way to build confidence is by taking a risk. Well, what holds us back from taking a risk? Fear. We're afraid. So addressing our fears is not just because we want to live a better, healthier life. It's actually the only way we're going to build confidence. And remember, confidence is shattered after betrayal, shattered out the window. We're stuck in comparison mode. We're stuck in self-gaslighting, self-blaming. There's all this stuff going on, and confidence takes a beating. Whether we were confident before or not is irrelevant. Betrayal takes it away, at least to some degree. So part of our healing journey is to absolutely build that muscle back up. If we had it before and lost it, or if we never had it, we've got to build it from the ground floor up.